Have you ever wondered why one church has stained glass windows, candles, and priests in robes, while another meets in a simple building with a band, a projector screen, and a pastor in jeans? Why do some churches baptize babies, while others only baptize adults? Why do some Christians pray with written prayers, while others speak spontaneously? And perhaps the biggest question of all, if Christians follow the same Jesus and read the same Bible, why do churches look so different? The answer is more fascinating and more important than many people realize. Let's explore. Welcome to Sacred Questions. Today we're asking, why do churches look different? For many people, walking into different churches can feel like entering completely different religions. For many people, walking into different churches can feel like entering completely different religions. For many people, walking into different churches can feel like entering completely different religions. A Roman Catholic Mass may feel very different from a Baptist service. A Roman Catholic Mass may feel very different from a Baptist service. An Orthodox church may seem worlds apart from a Pentecostal congregation. An Orthodox church may seem worlds apart from a Pentecostal congregation. Some churches emphasize tradition, others emphasize personal experience. Some are quiet and reflective, others are energetic and emotional. These differences often leave people wondering which one is right. Some are quiet and reflective, others are energetic and emotional. These differences often leave people wondering which one is right. Did Jesus intend Christianity to become so diverse, or is there something deeper happening beneath the surface? To answer that, we need to go back to the beginning. Many people imagine that the earliest Christians all worshipped exactly the same way, but the New Testament actually shows something more complex. The first Christians were spread across different cities, cultures, and languages. Believers lived in Jerusalem, Antioch, Corinth, Rome, Ephesus, and many other places. They shared the same faith in Jesus, but their local situations were often very different. The Apostle Paul wrote letters addressing unique problems in different churches. Some struggled with division, others struggled with false teaching, others faced persecution. Even in the New Testament, diversity existed. What united Christians was not identical worship styles, it was their shared belief in Jesus Christ. From the very beginning, Christianity contained both unity and diversity. As Christianity spread across the world, cultural influences naturally shaped how believers worshipped. When Christianity expanded into the Greek-speaking world, certain traditions developed. When it spread into Europe, local customs influenced church architecture, music, and worship practices. Over centuries, different regions developed different approaches. One major turning point came in the year 1054, often called the Great Schism. The Christian world formally divided between Eastern and Western traditions. Later, during the 1500 seconds, the Protestant Reformation created additional branches of Christianity. Reformers challenged certain church teachings and practices, arguing that some traditions had drifted from biblical foundations. As new denominations emerged, churches began emphasizing different aspects of Christian faith. Some focused strongly on tradition, others focused on scripture alone, others highlighted personal spiritual experiences. The result is the wide variety of churches we see today. One major reason churches differ is their understanding of authority. Where should Christians look for guidance? Different churches answer that question differently. For example, the Catholic Church teaches that authority comes through scripture, tradition, and church leadership. Many Protestant churches emphasize scripture as the highest authority. Eastern Orthodox Christians place strong importance on the historic teachings passed down through the early church. These differences influence everything from worship styles to church leadership structures. If two groups begin with different assumptions about authority, it's not surprising that they may practice their faith differently. Yet all of them believe they are seeking to follow Christ faithfully. Another reason churches look different is their understanding of worship itself. What is worship supposed to accomplish? For some traditions, worship is deeply connected to sacred rituals. The service follows patterns that have existed for centuries. The goal is to connect believers with God through historic practices and symbols. For others, worship focuses more on preaching, teaching, and understanding Scripture. The sermon becomes the central part of the service. In some churches, worship emphasizes spiritual experience. Music, prayer, and personal encounters with God receive special attention. None of these approaches emerged randomly. They reflect different theological priorities. Each tradition highlights aspects of Christian faith it considers especially important. At this point, some people may be wondering, if churches disagree about so many things, doesn't that prove Christianity is confused? It's a fair question, and Christians themselves have debated this issue for centuries. Some argue that denominational divisions weaken the church's witness. Others argue that diversity allows different communities to express faith in ways that connect with their culture and needs. In the Gospel of John, Jesus prayed that his followers would be one. Many Christians see unity as deeply important, but they disagree about what unity should look like. Many Christians see unity as deeply important, but they disagree about what unity should look like. Does unity require identical practices, identical leadership, identical worship styles? Or can Christians be united around core beliefs while differing on secondary issues? Different traditions answer that question differently, and the conversation continues today. There is also a deeper philosophical question beneath all of this. Human beings naturally express shared truths in different ways. Think about language. People around the world can describe the same reality using different words. The message remains the same, even though the expression varies. Something similar may happen in religion. Many churches share core beliefs about Jesus, salvation, prayer, and scripture, yet they express those beliefs through different traditions, music, architecture, and practices. From this perspective, diversity is not necessarily evidence of failure. It may be evidence of Christianity adapting to different cultures while preserving its central message. Of course, critics would argue that some differences are too significant to ignore. And that debate remains an important part of Christian history. Perhaps the most important question is not why churches look different. Perhaps the deeper question is, what are we looking for when we enter a church? Are we seeking familiarity, tradition, community, spiritual experience, biblical teaching, a sense of God's presence? For many Christians, the goal is not finding a perfect church. The goal is finding a community that helps them grow closer to God. The existence of different churches can be frustrating. It can also be enriching. It reminds us that millions of people across cultures, languages, and centuries have wrestled with the same questions of faith. The buildings may differ, the music may differ, the traditions may differ. And despite their differences, countless Christians throughout history have shared one central conviction, that Jesus Christ is worthy of worship, trust, and devotion. The buildings may differ, the music may differ, the traditions may differ. But beneath those differences lies a question every church must answer. Who is Jesus, and what does it mean to follow him? So, why do churches look different? Because history is complex, because cultures are diverse, because Christians interpret certain teachings differently, and because people have spent centuries trying to understand how best to worship God. Whether you see that diversity as a strength, a weakness, or something in between, it raises fascinating questions about faith, tradition, and human nature. Now we'd love to hear from you. Have you ever visited a church that felt completely different from your own? Did the experience strengthen your faith or challenge it? Be sure to subscribe to Sacred Questions and turn on notifications so you don't miss our next discussion. Until next time, keep asking, keep seeking, and keep exploring the questions that matter most.